And welcome back to another episode of the Baseline Bums podcast. It is your host, Rob, aka B-Ball Archives. And once again, I am joined by my homie, AJ. Thank you for being here, my dude.
Well, thank you for having me. We teased it last episode. We have to make some picks because it's a very important weekend in our world right now. And that is All-Star Weekend. We're going to be talking about all the festivities, all the fun stuff. Shout out to Indianapolis for hosting. I've heard a lot of good things in terms of just the city and all the, I guess, things the NBA is doing around it. Watched Pat McAfee on the other day, and Adam Silver was on it. Has a lot of good conversation about that. So just excited, man. It's the best time of the year.
Absolutely. All-Star Weekend it's always special. And like you said about Indiana is known as like a haven for anything and all things basketball. So I'm glad that it's there this year.
Name one movie about basketball from Indiana.
It couldn't be one of my favorite basketball movies of all time, Hoosiers, which I know people on multiple social media platforms have shit all over that movie.
I don't know how, but
that is a classic film. That is a quality film. If you don't like Hoosiers, I don't know if I like you.
It's fair.
Straight up. Yeah, I'm calling it like I see it.
No, I completely agree. And I'm sorry. I need to watch my sarcasm because TikTok doesn't understand sarcasm. It's so funny just to look at the comments and like, this guy doesn't know what we're talking about. It's like, yeah, do you really think LeBron James will come to San Antonio and him and Victor are going to open up a winery in Fredericksburg? Stop it. Like, right. Stop it. Like,
right. Yeah. On. There's got to be context to everything, and people just look right past the context.
And we were laughing. Like, when we're sarcastic, we go,
oh yeah. But regardless, we got some really great.
Yeah. Sorry. We got some All-Star Weekend.
No, you're fantastic, dude. We got some All-Star Weekend. Let's start breaking it down. I guess let's just dive on in. I guess the things that are happening Friday. A lot of the Rising Star stuff. The Ruffles All-Star game is happening as well. So let's just start right there. So the Rising Stars game, who do you have winning that game?
Like team wise, I think I have to go with Team Pal. Like, I think that team, first of all, the team has Victor and Bael. So you got the French connection right there. You also have, Jabari Smith, Brandon Miller, Jaime is in it. So it's like, I don't know how you can pick anyone else besides them, but that's my pick.
Yeah, same. Yeah, that's exactly who I'm going with World. They're definitely looking like the more complete team. But it's a Rising Stars game, so who knows if they're actually going to be playing to anywhere near their normal selves. But I see that being the case, and I see a Wemby MVP.
I think it's possible for sure. It's going to be interesting to see how everyone plays against Wemby, because you have like the kind of what you're hinting at, like not a whole lot of defense similar to an All-Star game, but they also all are essentially chasing Wemby to an extent. Like, I don't know if you can say that the sophomores are really following Wemby. Like, I don't think Paulo's following chasing Wemby, but I do believe all the other rookies and some of the sophomores are. So it's going to be interesting to see. And also, if we see another Victor versus Chet, how are they going to battle against each other? Is it going to be what we've seen and kind of, I wouldn't say one-sided, but it's definitely, there's one guy that's a lot better than the other one when they play against each other, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you have to take the play that you see this upcoming weekend with a grain of salt, but it's always fun because these players really care about all-star appearances. You can tell by the way that not only their enthusiasm when they get selected for the first time, but for the pay incentives for a lot of the things that it means for your contracts as well. So if Victor's not winning the MVP of the Rising Stars game, who do you think could?
I don't know, man. Like these are so hard to pinpoint in terms of MVP or things like that, because it could be anyone. Anyone can get hot. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Paulo got hot and went off for 40 each game or whatever. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if a Derek Lively started to make a lot of buckets. It wouldn't surprise me if uh no, it would definitely Sohan played well. But it would definitely surprise me if Scoot started to play well. It's
Yeah.
going to depend on who's ready for that awesome court. We didn't even talk about that part. That LED court is sick. So we'll
Dude,
see. We'll see what happens on that thing.
dude, that court is absolutely crazy. I wonder if somebody that's really big, like, if Giannis is running down the court, is he just gonna crush like an LED strip and it's gonna go dead? Like, I could see that happening. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean they probably use the same material as they do with the hardwood. I mean, or something like that.
yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't play on it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But it just seems like something that hasn't been 100% tested in like a game setting. But who knows? I'm sure they've done it.
I would hope
Um,
so.
yeah. But okay, cool. All right, so we'll just go ahead and move it on to the celebrity game. Obviously, the celebrity game, out of all of the events during the All Star weekend, it is the number one thing to not take seriously. But we're gonna fucking talk about it anyway.
I
Um,
yeah, man, that's a it's the I don't know about you, but it's always fun just to see the people that kind of know what they're doing and then the ones that don't know what they're doing. And I'm always I get especially in these past probably like five years or so, I'm Googling like who is so and so. So that's always a fun part for me. But
yeah,
um I also like because the coaches are mic'd up and they're talking mess to each other and they're yelling at the players and all this other stuff. So it's always gonna be fun.
oh
But
yeah,
who do you have for MVP for that?
dude, celebrity game MVP. I'm going with CJ Stroud.
That's a good one
I think I'm going with CJ Stroud. He was talking on a podcast,
with Michael
not
Parsons.
yeah, about how he cooked Jaime Jaquez
Yeah,
in high school, and I was like, I don't know if that's true. And then I looked into it, and I was like, oh dang, he actually was a real hooper back in the day. So I
I
think,
did the same thing for Michael Parsons because he was like, I averaged 20 and 20, and I was like, all right, bro, calm down. Like, and then
yeah,
I looked it up and like he was a good baller for sure, but 20 and 20,
dude, 20 and 20 is a
come
different
on.
kind of animal. Like you can average 20 points. Like, I averaged 20 points in high school.
Right.
It wasn't that difficult. And I don't want to like say it like that, but 20 rebounds. Oh my
20 rebounds, 20 rebounds. That means no one else is grabbing boards on your team. Like, come on, man.
jeez. That
I'm sure there's some truth to that. I'm sure he did have some 2020 games, but to say that you averaged, I mean, that's insane.
yeah.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick for MVP. That was my original pick, but I got a YouTube, TikTok, social media baller, Tristan Jass.
T-Jazz.
T-Jazz for sure, dude. He
Ooh.
is he I think he gets the better part of like some of the athletes on the other team. I think he might cook Micah Parsons. I think he might cook some other guys on the team. And I don't like if he gets hot, like he's just kind of that guy that he knows how to play. You've seen all his videos. He goes to like the roughest games and just hoops and balls out. Um, and I just think he's gonna do the same.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's such a crafty finisher. He's a good ball handler. If you leave him open, he can hit a good shot. So, ultimately, I don't hate that pick. He's one of the guys that knows the game better than most in the league or in that game. But at the same time, um, I have no idea who's going to get hot. What
Yeah,
kind of offense are they going to be running in that game? Can you tell me? Because I
yeah.
sure as hell don't know.
It's Stanford.
Yeah, it's the pull up and shoot. Just
Oh,
you pass half court, chunk it.
don't they have a 4 point line or something like that in the game too?
I think
I
so.
think they
Oh my.
have a 4 point game or 4 point line or something like that. So that's gonna be fun to watch. Do you have any surprises that might catch your eye in terms of celebrity or someone that could be like, oh man, that person can hoop?
Um, To be brutally honest, no. Like I'm not paying attention to too many people that are in that game. I know that, Parsons and obviously Stroud stuck out to me as like athletes that could actually do kind of like what like DK Metcalf did
Yeah.
last year, which is just like step in, be a straight up beast, dominant athlete, and then I think he put up like 25 points
I
and
mean, and he looked like the best player on the court and the best athlete by far in the arena.
right. Right. So whenever that's the case, you're pretty much going to dominate that game. So that's why I was kind of like, dude, he's that guy right now, not only in football, but I could see him easily translating that to a game like this.
Is there a celebrity that sticks out to you from the past that you're like, oh man, that was fun, or man, that dude could ball?
I mean, like randomly, dudes. Like when I think about the celebrity game, I think of like Kevin Hart back in the day, or like Justin
Hey,
Bieber.
3-time MVP Kevin Hart.
I'm not gonna lie, like there's some evidence out there that clip of him scoring on Kyle Lowry and kind of like talking shit, like kind of funny. Like I'm not gonna
Oh, it's
lie.
super funny. I think
So
of Justin Bieber sometimes, that kind of stuff. Random boy band guys, like we got AJ McLean from the Backstreet Boys on this one. So I always think of just the random guys that, but I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Looking at the list, I don't know anyone on this list. Like I really don't know any of these people.
dude, that
I
yeah,
hope I'm glad I even know T-Jazz. I'm just happy I know him, but I think that's because I'm just in the basketball world. But at least I know who the coaches are, so that's a plus. But I don't know shit about any of these people.
right. That's you were asking me like who are you excited about? I was like, outside of the people we just talked about, I don't really know too much. so I'm glad we're both kind of in the same boat on that. Both just maybe a little bit out of touch in the celebrity world, which is fine with me.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
I'm not I'm not too keen on the TMZ follows, but it is what it is.
for sure. I don't hate that one bit. Um, all right. So moving on to Saturday's events. We're going to be talking HBCU Classic, or honestly, we would if we knew a lot about Winston-Salem State and Virginia Union, but honestly, we don't know shit about those teams. So I feel like it would be pretty disingenuous to talk about it like that. But let's just go ahead and move on to the Kia Skills Challenge. Yes.
I mean,
Okay.
is there is there anyone else we're picking? Like, I mean,
Team top picks, right?
yeah, team top picks. Yeah,
Team top
duh,
picks. It's team top
duh.
picks. It always was team top picks. It forever will be team top picks.
It's not even close. Like, it's literally not even close. Like these dudes are balling right now. Like, I first of all, Paulo, we were talked about him. He's playing out of his mind. He's taking that sophomore slump and kicking it to the curb because that dude he's the guy. There's a
Yeah.
reason he went number one.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards is, I would argue, top five, maybe top three if you want to get real frisky with his play right now. And then obviously you got our dude, the alien, Victor
Yeah.
Wembanyama, which I'm low key that they drop his signature shoe at some point soon. That would be cool because I would love to add that to my collection.
Oh
So
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, looking at the other guys, like they're just there's no way that they might be quicker to some degree, but they're not gonna be team top picks. No
Right,
chance.
right. Team top picks. It just seems like out of all of the various lineups, this team just has a little bit of everything. And when you're talking about the skills challenge, you just need to be polished. And
Right.
out of all these, out of all these, out of all these lineups, I feel like at each position, when you need to have like a guard, a wing, and a big, there's no better than what they're bringing to the table. So I'm right there with you, team top picks all day long.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see Wimby in it and see how he does, and kind of see him like on a big stage, especially like All Star Weekend, center stage, big stage, and to see him do the obstacle course is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Oh yeah. Well,
Especially if they get into like that stride, then people can finally see like what we see on a nightly basis of like this dude, like he just does things that you don't comprehend. Like last night against the Mavs, Luca threw that perfect lob and he still got to it. I mean, he still got to it, and he was at the free throw line when he threw that lob. Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, just wild things like that. Just every time I watch him, it's like, wow, that's awesome. But why do we suck so bad?
And I think that there's gonna that those moments they're going to be, not there's going to be an abundance of those moments whenever we're talking about just jaw on the ground with Victor moving forward. But
Yep,
at the same time, it's like, if it's not translating to wins, then it's tough to get too excited about it.
agreed.
Um, but yeah, so seeing him in the skills challenge is going to be really, really cool. And just seeing him get to enjoy all of the things with his first All-Star weekend, that's going to be so dope.
Yeah,
Um,
all the interviews and podcasts that come out after that are gonna be fun to watch too,
oh yeah.
especially if he's holding that little mic.
Yeah, dude, that always makes him look even bigger than he already is, which is insane. Um, all right, so we got some more contests on Saturday night to get through. We have the Starry 3-point contest. Now, this is a very, very intense contest, to be brutally honest. Over the years, it has
Oh,
been
it's
it,
wild, man.
it's been very cutthroat, to be brutally honest. Who do you have winning this year?
First of all, in my opinion, I think this is the most competitive event in the entire weekend. Easily the most competitive event. And I think the guys that really set the bar were like, Larry Bird um, back in the 80s doing it with his warm-ups on. And then also in the 90s, you had who kept winning in the 90s? Was
Honestly,
it
I
I can't remember right now. Anyway,
I know that Mark Price was pretty lit in the 90s in the 3-point contest. I know he won at least one.
so I'm just excited. It's you always get the top shooters in this. Obviously, Steph's going to be in it later in the night, but he's won it. And whenever you see guys get hot, or I mean, even in the WNBA All Star Game or the 3-point contest, when you see people get hot, they just get hot, and it's fun to watch. My pick is going to be Jalen Brunson. That's
Bro,
that's my
same
pick
here.
because I just think I think he's ready for the stage. Now here's the big thing, and we talked about this a couple of times on some podcasts. Is they're going to be shooting in Lucas Oil Stadium, so it's not like you're going to be shooting in an arena. You're shooting in a football stadium. So when you're shooting in a football stadium, you have to be comfortable with that depth perception. Jalen Brunson, I saw him hoop ball out in Villanova. He can shoot and be in that situation. He knows what's going to be. So that's why I went with him. If it was going to be just at the Pacers arena, I probably would have gone Tyrese, but I got Jalen Brunson.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm going with Brunson too. I feel like he's going into this weekend with a little chip on his shoulder, maybe feeling like he should be starting over Damian Lillard. Maybe he doesn't feel that way. I don't know. I feel like he should.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I'm right there with you. I think he's poised to make a big splash here and is ready for that environment. Honestly, I didn't think about it like that, but you're right. That depth perception is going to play a little bit of a factor, and it could be enough to put him over the edge. But I know that I was looking at the Vegas odds, and all of the odds are looking in Damian Lillard's favor. It's
interesting.
Yeah, it's looking like
Probably because probably
he
because
is
of
the
the name.
favorite.
Probably because of his name. But I mean, anyone can get hot. It's going to be. I what I love about it is that there's layers to this competition. It's obviously you got to shoot the ball, but it's where do you start? Where do you have your bonus balls? Are you going to be running basically in front of the rack, or are you going to run behind it to get to where your spot is? Are you going to pull from your right side, or are you going to cross over from the left to the right? Are you going to be able to finish all the shots in the time allowed? So it's just there's a lot of layers to this, and I think you need a veteran person who's been in it, who understands. So I get why Damian might be a good fit, but you know, I don't think anyone can come close to Brunson, man. Like I think he's going to get hot and he's going to have that chip on his shoulder. I mean, there could be a couple of other people that could come out, like Markerin might come out, Trey Young might come out, but I think when the big lights are up, who better than the New York Nick.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think he's going to take that home. Maybe the hometown fans propel Halliburton to a 3-point contest victory, but I think Halliburton's going to be walking away with that. But there's also another 3-point contest happening that night. A completely separate 3-point contest. We're talking Steph versus Sabrina 3-point challenge. I'm very excited for this one, to be brutally honest.
I'm super
as
excited
soon
about it.
as soon as Steph mentioned it, and then Sabrina immediately was like, "Hey, I'm down for that." I was like, "Dude, this is gonna be good." And
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I would love to see Sabrina shoot from NBA range with NBA balls, or Steph shoot with WNBA balls, WNBA balls with WNBA range. But regardless, it's gonna be fun to watch, man. Like, we're talking about the two premier shooters in their leagues.
yeah,
Like, I mean, who's playing better than Steph in terms of shooting? And Sabrina, we saw what she did last year in the women's 3-point contest. So let's make it fun. Let's make it
yeah,
fun.
she literally scored 37 out of 40.
That's
That's
insane.
yeah.
That's insane.
I don't know how you're that accurate with that much pressure and you're operating that quickly. That's mind-boggling. So I think if anyone's going to be able to edge Steph out, it's definitely going to be her. And honestly, if I'm betting, I'm gonna
I'm leaning Sabrina for
I'm leaning
sure.
Sabrina as well too. I think
For
I think
sure.
I think I think she's going to take that. Um, I think that she's geared towards a contest like this,
Hmm.
whereas a lot of Steph's 3-point shooting is in like coming off of a pick situations. It's like kind of slithery, kind of getting open, catching the ball. Whereas I think Sabrina has that mechanics where she can just catch a ball off a rack,
Right.
pull it, and set more of a natural set shooter. Whereas Steph is kind of a looking to create some space along with
Hmm.
getting his shot off. So I think Sabrina, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And if she loses, then Steph just looks like an asshole. So
Yeah, yeah. He's just immediately sexist.
yeah, it's like, why would you beat this woman? How dare you?
Yeah. Why do you hate women in general, Steph? Yeah,
Don't you
he's gonna
have
have.
daughters?
Yeah, he's gonna have some explaining to do.
No, I'm excited for. I love this. I think we should do more of this cross promotion stuff with the WNBA more. I think it should be definitely up in line with the NBA. Figure out more ways to incorporate, how to get more eyes on the WNBA, because it only helps the brand altogether. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Honestly,
I'm excited about it.
honestly, why stop there? I want to see. I want to see the matchup that we were promised a long time ago. I want to see Brittany Griner and DeMarcus Cousins 1-on-1. I want to see that 1-on-1 because they were both ready to go at each other. I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
dude, let's do it.
sure. It's
I
gonna
would,
be a who. It's gonna be a who can get out of Russia first.
oh my
Is
goodness.
DeMarcus Cousins still in China? I know that there's rumors about him possibly going to the Warriors, which would be a terrible idea right now.
Yeah,
So,
he doesn't belong in the NBA anymore. He just was grossly inefficient for what he was doing. But yeah, yeah, pure craziness whenever that stuff was going down. But yeah, I think I agree. Ultimately, more cross promotion is only going to be beneficial for the WNBA. Why not introduce that?
yep, I
Um,
agree.
so yeah, there is one last event on Saturday night. It is the slam dunk contest. Um, we have Jalen Brown, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Mac McClung, and Jacob Toppin. Who do you have winning this?
I'm actually surprised Jalen Brown's going to do it. As the literally the highest paid NBA player of all time.
Honestly, I was so proud of him for saying what
I
he
am too.
said. He said, why aren't more star players in the dunk contest? And I couldn't agree more. If you're going to want more people to take these contests seriously,
Yep.
then get the star players in them, just like they're doing with the various other skills contests. Like,
Right. Yeah.
it just makes sense.
It's fun. Like, don't tell me these NBA players haven't competed in some kind of dunk contest in their life. Like most of them probably won their high school one. So you have the ability to do it. It makes me really happy that he's in it. But I mean, I went to the school out in West Texas in Lubbock called Texas Tech, and there was a gentleman who is going to expand on our amazing week after our awesome quarterback won the Super Bowl, and that person is Matt McClung. He is going to win back-to-back dunk contests from the G League, and hopefully sparks of fire and more stars come next year. Because I mean, rewatching that dunk contest from last year, it's Matt McClung.
Oh yeah.
It's Matt McClung.
Oh, absolutely, hands down. He's a natural born dunker. He's somebody that can literally create art while he's mid-air. So whenever I'm looking at just somebody who's built for this contest, it's
Yeah.
Mac McClung. And not only that, but let's be very frank, there's a cash prize involved in this contest, and if we're
Yep.
pointing to two of the people on this list that need that honestly could use a little bit of a boost in cash, it's Mac McClung and Jacob Toppin. These guys are
Yeah.
on either G League contracts, two-way contracts, whereas Jaime Jaquez Jr. is having an amazing rookie campaign. He's poised
Yep.
to have a long career in the league if he can just keep it up. And then obviously we know Jaylen Brown's financial situation. He's set. But yeah, so it just seems like, why would you not put in full effort if you're Mac McClung?
I just hope we see something that we've never seen before again. Because I mean, it's been so much fun to just see variations of things. But I mean, Mac McClung's his apparently his dunks are like go for days. He has a dunk for pretty much every day of the week, essentially. So I'm excited to see what he incorporates. It'd be awesome if he came out in the Texas Tech jersey, but I'm just going to throw that out there. It kind of sucks that this is his claim to fame because I think he is a great hooper. If you can recall, he made that game winning shot against UT in Austin, and it was just so pretty.
Yeah.
So
He can
um,
score. He can
he can
score.
score. He just can't really play defense and kind of undersized. But that's
Right.
beside the point.
And he hasn't been scoring efficiently, to be brutally honest. So
Yeah.
it's been kind of
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah, but in a dunk contest, he's fantastic. So
Yes. That's what he's built for, apparently.
yeah, and I'm cool with that. But we talked about this like one of our first episodes is I really want to see more stars for sure, but I would love to see some guy who won a few dunk contests to get to the dunk contest. And like a just a random guy like T-Jazz, someone that's been on the social media kind of circuit, if you will. And he had to qualify, and you got to watch a couple of dunk contests in, early January or right at maybe put it during Christmas Day where they need to qualify, and then they do another one in January to get one spot in the dunk contest.
Yeah, that way you have to not only be good on the night of, but you have to be a good, consistent dunker over a period of time and stay healthy, a number of things in order
Right.
to make it. So I think that could create a layer of seriousness that people could be wanting from that. I think that could be a good idea.
You think LeBron James does a dunk contest at 40?
No, I don't think he ever does. I mean, I think he would have in 2004, 2005 if he ever was going to do one, but nah, he's
I'm
way
not gonna
past
say
that.
I'm not gonna say he ruined the dunk contest, but he definitely did not make it legitimate because then that's when it turned to just rookies and sophomores and G leaguers and stuff. So I wish he did a little more. Like obviously we had Jason Richardson for a while, which was fun, but to say that he was an established superstar, his first one, I wouldn't. That was a little bit of a stretch. But by two, three, or however many he won, he was a lot more famous for sure, and it was because of the dunk contest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there was a while that I did think LeBron ruined the dunk contest by not participating and sort of diminishing the star power. But then we had like dunk contests like 2016 with Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine, and it was just like, oh wow, there are some really talented young guys that can blow your mind with these dunks back and forth. I just think it really takes like the guys who are about to be superstars getting involved, not necessarily a LeBron at this point, but I want to see like De'Aaron Fox in this dunk contest. You know, I want to see Anthony Edwards in this dunk contest. You
I
know,
want to see Victor Wembanyama in this dunk contest.
yeah, like I want to see some bigger names who have some spring, some athleticism. Why not Jason Tatum? Why isn't Jason
Yeah,
Tatum in the dunk contest? You know,
sure.
it's like there's just a laundry list of guys that I think could and should probably be participating to help out the popularity, even though people
Yeah.
watch it, just not as
It
many people that
it'd be
should.
fun. It'd be fun if Victor ever got to do it, just because obviously he's so big that they don't really do well in dunk contests, but maybe he's creative enough to where all of his dunks are going to be outside the paint. Like that's just how he has to do it. Cause he can go between the legs. He can do all this crazy stuff. I mean, even if he just puts his arm up and just puts the ball in, that's a dope dunk because no one else
Yeah,
can do it.
yeah, absolutely. Um, Yeah, honestly, yeah. Hopefully the dunk contest doesn't completely shit the bed. But you know, if Mac McClung wins, I wouldn't hate that. But okay, so that wraps up a good Saturday. Moving on to Sunday, the NBA Legends brunch. Hopefully that's pretty cool.
Hopefully there's a lot of mimosas going around and
Right.
some white girl wasted stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll get pretty wasted at that. G League up next game. I don't want to dive into that too much because we got to get on to the actual All Star game. But shout out Dominic Barlow.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out Dominic Barlow. Hopefully, you know he represents Austin Spurs and the Spurs community as a whole in that game very well. But yeah, and then just moving on to the All Star game. Who are you feeling for All Star MVP, AJ?
Oh man, I don't know. That's a great question. I That's a tough one, man, because I keep going back and forth between like 10 people.
Yeah.
So but I'm actually gonna go with Ant. I got Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards MVP. I think he's gonna put on a show. Dunks, jumpers, three-pointers, the whole nine. He'll probably end up with a triple double if possible. I just think he's gonna ball out. I think that game's made for guys like Anthony Edwards, and there's there's a lot of guys that, especially on the west side of the play or of the game, that they're older. They don't want to play the whole game, or they want to get their minutes, maybe the first quarter, third quarter, and that's it. And then I think that leaves a lot of minutes for Anthony Edwards to come in and take over a game.
Yeah, you
Like,
certainly could be right. I mean, he's poised to play a lot of minutes within that game because there's some older guys like you were saying that may or may not want to be playing 40 minutes that game. So
right.
he could have a lot of agency.
Yep. Who do you got?
I'm going with Luca.
Oh, that's a
I'm
good one.
I'm going with Luca. I could see Luca 40 piece and just kind of just getting a little dirty with it while like the way he's moving offensively and the way that he's getting to the bucket. Um, just hearing how he's approaching the offensive game, just listening to him on the JJ Redick podcast recently, man, he's like paying attention to his percentage as his opponent's offensive percentage when he's being attacked.
Right.
He's more conscious of all the things he's doing out on the court. So I think it's translating into just a different Luca. So why not Luca MVP the All Star game? I could see it.
Do you also have the West winning?
Yeah, I have the West winning as well.
Do you think we get to 200 points?
I think we do.
I think we get to 200. I
Yeah.
know that they did away with the Kobe rule, so the likelihood is a little less. But I mean, there's no defense in the first half. I think we see 100 points by halftime, and I think we get to 200 by the end of the game.
Yeah. I think that's a completely a completely normal take that I don't think is completely out there, just because with the rise of offense that we're seeing, and just dude, guys are getting paid more than ever. They're not trying to get hurt during an
Yeah,
all-star game.
it's all 3 point. It's gonna be all 3 pointers, and they're gonna be taking them like they're back at home in their garage or something. Like it's gonna be a lot of threes. Like I think it's interesting that we both picked someone from the West, because looking at the roster, it's like old, not interested, not interested. And so, just I just feel that our we have really good picks in terms of MVP. It's just a matter of if anyone in the East is going to be able to step up. Like I just I don't see that happening. Maybe Trey, maybe Jalen, maybe Tyson, but or Tatum, excuse me. But I think it's going to be either Luca or Ant. So
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Yeah, we only have a little bit of time. Do you have a favorite All-Star moment or an All-Star game memory that
Oh,
sticks out?
dude, it has to be every time the shoes for me.
Yeah.
All the All-Star games, all the shoes come out. My favorite shoes of all time was when T Mac dropped his, was it T Mac twos or something, and he had one red and one blue drew the entire game. Like those things were fresh. I love those. And then I think in the same game, everyone that was rocking Dadas at the time, that was fun. So just my favorite part of the All-Star games is shoes.
Yeah.
What's yours?
MJ and Kobe in '03
Oh,
going
that was
back
a
and
gooder.
forth.
Ooh, that was
Also,
fun.
Duncan and Shaq shared the MVP that year, and it just seemed like they were equally dominant. So I just loved that era. '03,
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Absolutely.
That's been an episode of the Baseline Bums podcast. Thank you for joining us. It's been your host, Rob, aka B-Ball Archives. Once again, I'm joined with my homie AJ. And as always, it is go Spurs. Go.
Hit the theme music. And we're out.